Hey, we're in there.
Oh my God, I have to put my hands here. There we go.
I love it. I love it. It's reminding me like of those old like Microsoft computer backgrounds where it's just like
No,
crazy stuff.
literally. Oh, don't forget
Yeah.
to go live on YouTube. I think there's some people waiting as well.
It should be.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
check and see.
I need to mute everything. Hold on. There we go. We're back. We're
Yeah,
back. We're
we're
back.
live. We're live on YouTube. Let me see. Let's check, but we should be live on YouTube, on Behance, and on all the places. But
Hi,
yeah.
everyone.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Danielle Elise with ABC Studios, which stands for All Black Creatives Studios. This is a video podcast where I interview a guest artist or creative every month. And this month, back again, we have Maria Pearl. We did a podcast stream together. I think it was maybe just last month, maybe November,
I think
maybe
so.
October.
It's
I
quite
don't know.
recently. Quite recently.
Yeah, and Maria mentioned, oh, video editing happening in Photoshop, and I was like, I've never heard of this ever, ever, ever in my life. Um, and so um, I was like, obviously, like, I need to hear more about this. And so she was very willing to come back and do this again. Um, but before we jump into that, I just wanted to say a big thank you to our podcast sponsors, Adobe Express. And thank you to all of you who have subscribed and been patient with us as we switch to YouTube because Behance Live is actually the last day is tomorrow. So here we are. We're
Wow.
going forward with YouTube, brave and bold. Um, Very excited. And all of that said, Maria, I would love for you to introduce yourself to the people and yeah, get us started.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria Pearl. I am a motion graphics designer and creative, all-round creative. And yeah, like Danielle said, I'd mentioned literally in passing that, oh, I made that video in Photoshop. And so many people don't know that you can do that. I think I even discovered it by mistake. And then I was just like, yeah, this is me. This is me moving forward. This is this is me forever. I still alternate between Premiere Pro, but I feel like with some of the specific things I do, especially the nostalgic bits,
Mm.
Photoshop is like amazing. So I was like, do you know what? Let me actually show people how it's done. Um, this is kind of a tutorial slash breakdown slash if you already have the download package, if you got it in advance, this is just kind of how to use it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to break down. I've been doing this for years. I think I've been editing videos in Photoshop for maybe like 7 years. I don't know. It's been a really long
Ah.
time. Yeah, so this specific one that we're making, so we are going to make a nostalgic phone. We're gonna put a video into a nostalgic phone and I'm gonna break all of that stuff down. What else is there? Yeah, so it's gonna be two parts. So there's gonna be one for like the Nokias, because I've got a whole bunch of Nokias, and then I've got some Motorola's. So I'm just gonna show you two different techniques for two different outcomes, and we go from there. So let's get cracking. Hopefully everything is smooth sailing because
Oh,
technology is
I'm
gonna technology.
as it always does. I was just going to jump in and say to everyone who hasn't downloaded it, the link for the assets that you need for this stream, if you're watching on Behance, they're right underneath the description on the right side. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's directly beneath you. So, like, right down here. And that's it. I'm done. Okay.
Okay, cool. So let's see if I can present, and I've put everything on Do Not Disturb. So hopefully nothing pops up, but let's go. Share screen. Let me do my entire screen. It's probably gonna do like that infinite thing for a sec, but then when we get into Photoshop, or maybe I can just do Photoshop. No, let's do the whole screen. Okay. So let's see what I can see. Yep, it's the infinite screen. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go into Photoshop. So if you've downloaded um the file, it should kind of look like this. I need to try and figure out a way where I can see myself. It doesn't come up as
Yeah,
like
you tell
something
me.
small.
Is this better? Like, do we want to do you like this? Here it is,
Um,
but then we can't see you. And
yeah,
we've
it's
got,
fine. Do you know what?
how's
I'm
that?
just gonna go, I'm just gonna do it like this. I can't see you guys, so I'm just gonna
We can
edit and
see you.
hope for the
You look
best.
good. Go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, so I can't see myself, but I will just figure it out. Okay, so
Okay.
this is how the file should look. I know it just looks really weird and everything it just looks really weird. But oh my God, see what I mean? Technology is gonna
It's
technology.
okay. We can play with it and we can see
We'll
like I could
play,
do
we'll figure
this,
it
but
out.
that kind of covers you a little bit, I
This
think.
infinite
But yeah,
screen
hold
is
on.
like cracking me
The
up.
infinite screen is so much. It's so funny. But like we can hold on, let's see. We can the infinite screen is killing me. I forgot. I forgot about that being a thing. Okay.
It's
How's
absolutely fine.
how's this?
It's fine.
That's
Just
insane.
have us at the side and I will just be in Photoshop. So when I'm like this, what can you see? Can
Perfect.
you still see
When
me?
I'm like this, I can see, yeah, there's like me and then you on the left and then
Okay.
your screen. It's perfect like this.
I can't see you guys, so I'm gonna
Okay,
come in and out. But yeah, so
perfect.
this is how it looks to begin with. It just looks really weird, but we're basically gonna focus on the actual video. Um, yeah, so the video that goes inside the phone, and this is the part that's basically the template, and you will be able to upload any video into here once I show you kind of how to do it, even though I can't see myself. But we move. So I have I put this video of Carlton Banks, right? So at first, I was just kind of like, what video am I going to use? I just had no clue what to put in the phone. I was thinking, I'm not going to send you guys a video of myself because you just don't need that. So I was looking online. I was just trying to find something. I couldn't find anything. And in the end, I was like, oh, at first I was going to do Michael Jackson moonwalking. And then I
Mm,
just came across this. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. This is kind of universal, and I've already edited this and made it like quite jolty. So as you can see, it's kind of like jerk movements, but I've done it because that's how it would look on a Nokia phone. It's not something
mm-hmm.
that you have to do, it's not compulsory, but it's just something that kind of adds that level of like authenticity
The
when
glitch.
you're yeah, because when you like imagine with like the snake, it was kind of like it moved like really jolty. So
Mm-hmm.
I usually do that on Premiere Pro, and you just go to like posterize time and then you drag it on and turn down the frame rates. I can go into that in a bit, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. Anywho, so that's what I do. So this is the video that I have for you guys to mess around and just to kind of understand Wagwan. Usually as well, when you open Photoshop, it might look like this. So if anyone's screen looks like this, don't feel intimidated. You just go to Window, Timeline, and then it should come up. That's how you're able to edit videos. Cool.
Are you
We are gonna
using Photoshop on the desktop or on online?
on the on the desktop.
Ah, okay,
Let
okay.
me look at you. You're gonna see the infinite screen again. Yeah, so I'm using it on the
Okay,
desktop.
yeah. Cool.
And my screen is also like 20,000 inches. So apologies that it's so wide.
It's
It's
huge.
so wide. It's so wide. But I just want to see everything. Oh my days, my arms are like cut off when I'm here. It's just so funny. Okay. Okay. Back to me not seeing you. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So you take the video and you just literally drag it. You drag it in and it's gonna end up kind of looking like this. So you want to resize. Oh, just to know, this is kind of I would say the level that you're at in terms of Photoshop is between beginner and intermediate. So there might be certain
Mm,
things that you might not understand, or I'll try and talk through it. But I wouldn't say this is super beginner friendly. You would just have to kind of know your way around a little bit. That's just something to
mm,
bear in mind. However, this is really straightforward. So if you drag it on there, it might end up being at the top where the layers are. I don't know if you guys can see the layers, and you want to drag it so it is underneath the rectangle. So just underneath here. So now when it's in here, it looks crazy. and you're just kind of like, okay, this looks weird. And if you press play, the space bar, it's working, but it still doesn't look quite like what a Nokia phone would look like. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I've put this layer here which says drag smart layer and delete. So if you expand it, it's got this smart layer here. So you can drag it. I usually hold down the Alt key to duplicate it, but you can just drag and delete. It's up to you. So I just drag this smart layer on top of the Carlton dance and voila. So you basically have
Oh.
now put on there a mosaic, the levels, and the hue and saturation. But also just to kind of break down everything that you can see, if I undo that actually, and I'm gonna hide all of these layers just so you can actually see what each one of them does. So we start with the rectangle. This is solely for authenticity, literally, because if you look at a phone, they have the light on the outside and then they have like a darker square in the middle. So
Mm.
that's there. And then you play around with the threshold. So the threshold is kind of what adds or removes color. It almost puts it in its simplest form.
Mm.
So I've messed around with like two layers and then I put in the levels. It still looks weird, but then you add on a good old gradient map and then you have your color. And then I add in a grid because on a phone you have all the grids. So that's just for, again, making it look authentic. But now, as you can see, you have all of these things there, but it still doesn't look legit. So when I drag the smart layer on it, which is the mosaic, the color, and just tweak everything, it turns into exactly what you see. So yeah, that is
Mm.
literally it. And then you press play and you have your video and it looks exactly like how it would look in a phone.
Wow.
So
Yo,
that
this is
is
so
it.
cool.
So
This
that's
is
edited
so
video in
cool.
Photoshop. So
Wow.
if you're happy and you're good, you now go to File, Export, Render Video, and then you just save where you want to save it and just play around. I usually keep this on document size, but you can just do all of that stuff and cool. So I'm not gonna have you guys I'm not gonna have you guys watch my screen render. So I already made one earlier.
Mm.
Here's one I did earlier. It is
Classic. Yeah, that's like you have to have that. You have to do that part.
Yeah, of course. So here's one I did earlier. So this is how it will look when it's done outside of Photoshop. So now you can send that to yourself. Even if you didn't want to put it in a phone, it's still quite cool. Sometimes I upload this
Mm-hmm.
stuff on like my Instagram stories, just like this, but it's really cool. So now I've given you a selection of phones. I'm gonna go with an 8210. Just
Oh my
I just think
God.
it's
Did you
cool.
ever
And I
have
feel
that
like
one?
no, I didn't, but I feel like it
Oh
doesn't
my
get enough
God.
love. It doesn't get enough love. So I was
I
like,
think
I'm
this
gonna
is
do this.
this is the one that I had.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, and
I
you
love the
could
phone.
toss this phone like down a flight of stairs and like nothing.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
phone would survive the apocalypse 100%.
No,
Like,
no,
absolutely.
literally. Yeah.
No
So this
doubts.
all of the Nokia phones are literally weapons at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Like, wow.
Okay. So back to not seeing you again.
Okay,
Right.
bye.
So so this is the phone that I'm using, and then when you want to upload or make video, this is how it will originally look. So it can be video timeline or frame animation. Always want to make sure it's video timeline. That just will make your life easier. And then you take your video and you just again drag and drop. So wherever you have it, you drag and drop it. I want to resize. So I'm just going to resize it. Da, 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 da. Yep. And then we go
Hmm.
to create video timeline. And then you just want to drag all the layers so that they are the same length, because what would happen is you will have this video and then you press play and it would disappear. So you want to
Whoa.
make sure
Yeah.
all of them are dragged to the same level. So it's whatever layers, that's the bit that can get quite tedious, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure all the levels are all the layers, sorry, are dragged to the same length. And then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is it. And you press play and
Wow.
you have your video.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yes.
I love that. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. This is so cool.
Yeah, that is
So
literally
cool.
it. So I set you guys up anyway, so you can have a play around. You can do this with any phone, any phones of choice that I've put in there. It's the exact same method. You just
Mm,
literally drag and drop and then press play. So it's the same technique of like file, export, render video. I think I rendered this one out already. Let me double check. I'm not sure.
mm,
I don't think I did, but it's pretty much that. So that's that on that. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like if you were to put one of your own videos in there and just a random one.
mm.
If you feel like you're comfortable with Carlton and you just kind of like you understand the ins and outs, then cool.
Mm.
You can just find a video of choice. So here's one I did earlier. I am going to be using this phone. So this is my phone of choice, but we're going to go back
Oh, I love
to
that one.
yes, I never had it. I wanted it, and now I'm reliving out my childhood dreams through Photoshop. But we're going to go back to this. I'm just going to undo everything. So it's back to its original state, just to kind of show you, oh, if I want to make my own video, how will it look? So this is the video that we're going to work with. It's just an old video that I've made. Again, I've already made it glitchy, just so it looks more like
Mhm.
the Nokia phone. But I can also show you this is how it is in Premiere Pro. So this is it. And if you see it without, let me click on here and I just hide this. This is how it originally looks. It's just
Mm.
very simple and straightforward. I'll actually do it from scratch just so you can see. Drag posterize time, and then I just change the frame rate, can't speak, frame rate to 3, and there you go. That's literally it. And then you
Ah,
export
that's
it
the
out, whatever.
glitch.
That's the glitch. So, as I said, you don't have to do it, but because I really like my stuff to look as authentic as possible, I usually like to glitch out my videos first and then I put them into Photoshop. So,
I love
I've
it.
already done that, but that's just how to do it from scratch. So, again, drag your video in here, you resize. Let me resize it so there's no black outlines. Fantastic, amazing, cool. Now, again, like I said, you have to drag all the layers, which again can get really tedious, but it's like vital because they're going to disappear halfway through. So I'm just going to drag all of these. Yes, it's honestly so annoying. I swear to you. And you're just
You're
there
such a
like,
pro.
if anyone has any shortcuts, please tell me because
Mm.
I'm trying to make my life as easy as possible. So now again, you take your video and you want to drag it under the rectangle. Look like a ghost. You're gonna be like, what the hell is what the hell is going on? When you press play, I look crazy, but we're gonna make it work. So
Wow.
you now go here and you drag your smart layer and boom. So now, because each video is different, you can have a play around with the threshold layer. So you can just mess around with the layers, see what works, see what fits. So all of these layers here, you can just play around with them. So I'm probably going to move it here, maybe bring the levels up because I try to make it green and black, as green and black as possible. I'm just going to do it super fast just so you can see what I'm doing or what you might do to your videos. And now when I play, I look like a Nokia girl. I feel like there's some more things that I could do to mess around. Let's keep playing. Let's see. I did it. Well, I've already done it earlier, but let me just show you how I'm doing it live. But yeah, you just mess around with these 3 layers, the threshold and the levels, and that's what will get your video exactly where you want it. This is okay. I'm not 100% impressed. It's okay, but it's fine. We'll make it work. I've already rendered one out anyway, so even if this is poor, it doesn't matter. I've got a perfect one. So this is how it will look. Like I said, you can put any video in there, you drag the smart layer on, and then you literally just play around until you're happy. That is
Ah,
essentially it in
so
terms of
cool.
yeah. So I've basically given you like the template, and then you just slot
Mhm.
your videos in and just slot them in, and you can do that forever. So
Okay, my
that's the best
question
way to
is
do it.
like, how did you figure this out? Like, how are you like, I'm going
Uh,
to take this from Premiere Pro. I'm gonna put it in Photoshop. I'm gonna do this whole like I don't know, like what kind of inspired you to do that? And then, sorry if anybody else has questions, throw them in the chat
No,
and
it's fine.
we'll put them up.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I'll share my screen after. So
sweet.
I had an idea and I really wanted to put myself in a phone because I was like, I've put myself in different phones, but I haven't mastered the Nokia. And it's so specific with like the green and the black and the squares and all of that stuff. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try and figure this out. So I did it the first time and it was okay, but me being me, I was like, it's not as authentic as I need it to be. So I was just like, okay, cool. I need to just mess around. I genuinely, if I'm being honest, I can't remember how I did it or how it came up. I just knew that once I made this, I'm going to literally just, I'm just going to leave it as is. And that's why I'm giving it to you guys as is. Like, I'm just giving it to you guys as is. So,
We
yeah,
the
I'm just
people are
gonna
so blessed. You're sharing the secrets with us, and it's just
yeah,
like,
honestly,
yes,
I figured it out
yes.
myself and I was like, I cannot replicate this. I cannot even
Mm-hmm.
remember, but I found the technique and you guys can have it too. So that's kind of
Mm.
what happened. But for me, I usually have a lot of ideas in my head and I'm like, I need to see this through. I need to get it out of my head. By fire, by thunder, I'm getting it out of my head. So that's kind of what happened. But yeah, so let me go back to presenting. I'm going to do my infinite screen again. Here we go. Back to the infinite screen. Cool. So now we go back into Photoshop. So again, if you're happy with your video, file, export, render video, good to go. So this time around, like I said, I'm going to use this Nokia 3410. And here is my, oh, that's the final one. Here's my video that I've already done earlier. I already did it with the lighting that I liked and just, made it cool how I want it. All good. So now, exactly the same thing. We're going to drag it into the phone and just kind of resize. This time around, I don't want my video to be this small. I actually want it to be quite big. But then when I do that, it ends up sticking out of the sides and you can't rub it out because it's a smart layer. So you can't just get the eraser tool and rub it out. So what I'm going to do is down here at the bottom, you have your quick mask. You want to make sure you've got the layer highlighted. You want to do a quick mask and then you have your brush tool and now you can rub it out. That's literally it. You can rub it out. Whatever size you want to do it, you can rub it out the sides, and now I have a perfect placement of the video. So, wait, can you guys still hear me? Okay, okay, it's just me and you guys. It's fine. Go back. I was like, I could hear silence, and I
You're
was
like,
just
what
like, oh my
happened?
days.
Where did
I was
everybody
like,
go?
I was
Nah,
like,
no, 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 no,
has
no.
the live stopped? But it's okay.
No,
Like
absolutely
like
not.
I
I
said, the
my
sound is
I'm
comforting
muted
to me.
because my children are doing a live action role playing game in the background. So I'm gonna put myself on mute again, but please
It's
continue.
fine. It's comforting to me anyway. But yeah, so so now we go to create our video timeline. Again, you have to drag it so it matches. Sometimes you can have a shorter video or longer video, whatever the weather. And then you literally just play and your video is done. That is it. It's that simple. You just drag and drop. And if you want to mask, you can. If you don't, you want to resize, you can. But it's that simple. It's just a two-part process. So you have to focus on what goes inside the Nokia phone, and then you need to put it inside the Nokia phone. And that is literally it. Also, the way I packaged all of the stuff, you can actually put a layer behind it, or you can put something behind it just to, spruce it up. So I already have this one, this layer.
Ooh, whoa,
Yeah. So this is
love.
this is I bought like a pack a while ago from this guy, I can't remember his name. So bad. But he just had some really cool backgrounds. So yeah, drag it underneath so it's under the phone, and there you have it. And you could put anything you like. Even if you want to be cheeky and
Wow.
add a second video underneath, you can. Now you guys know how to edit video in Photoshop. So let's see. I'm just gonna do this randomly. So if I do it like this is just because the video is there.
Hmm.
Done. And then what is this layer? And then yeah, you have two videos in one. You can do videos
Yeah,
upon
I
videos.
love
Yeah.
that. I love it. We're just like
But
crazy, like collaging right now. Like,
yeah, you can. You actually can do that. If you wanted to have like collages of multiple things, you just drag
hmm.
and drop. Like it's that simple. You drag and drop and you can just play and just have crazy things. Maybe that'll
Oh
be
my
the next thing I
gosh.
do. I might challenge myself to do a collage. But yeah, this is literally it. And that's it. You can put a
Wow.
background there, you put whatever you like. You export it out. And then here's one I did earlier. And you have this. Oh,
Wow.
this always does that. Okay, I'm back. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your video done. It's that simple. It's literally
So
that
sick.
simple.
I love that. I love that. I
Thanks.
want to like open it up if anybody has any like questions. Like, I love that we're all just freaking out about like what we can do in Photoshop. Like, what is happening? This is so epic. Um, I
Thanks.
want to see too, like, okay, so two things. So,
Yeah,
one, the very first time that I had you on, we kind of did like a cool like scroll through your website and you showed us like what you were had worked on, some like cool like motion graphics and stuff that you had done. And so for people who might be joining us for the first time, if you're down, I would love it if you could go through your kind of website again and like maybe
I
even show us some stuff.
I will. I absolutely will. But before
Okay.
I forget, I actually have
Yeah.
two parts of the phone tutorial that I wanted to show you. So
Please.
that was that on the Nokia one, but
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I've put some like Motorola's and stuff, and the Motorola's is like
Yes.
it's so much simpler. It's so
Like
much
a
simpler.
razor?
Yeah, so I've got this one, but if you want
Okay.
to do the razor, I'll do the razor. Don't worry.
I that was like
I'll
my
do the
favorite. I
razor.
had a hot pink razor. I
Oh
had
my
a
God.
hot pink Motorola razor, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
That
Yes.
is
Okay, you
so
have a
crazy because
question.
I was gonna do that, but I was just like, let me just
Were
go
you?
for something. Yeah, so I had this one and I had the hot pink one, but I was like, oh, there might be some guys that wanna
Okay,
not have a pink
right?
phone. So I was
Okay,
like,
that's
let me
fair.
just have something
That's
that's like
that's completely
gender
fair.
neutral. But yeah, you
No,
said
you're
you had a
right.
question.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it up on the screen. It is from Liv. Can you see these when I pop them up?
Yes. Oh, now I can
Perfect.
see them because I'm not sharing my screen, so I can see all the
Okay,
questions.
yeah. Well, Liv says, "What is your favorite nostalgic tech to recreate on Photoshop?"
Oh my God. What is it? I think it might be phones.
Yeah.
It might be the phones.
Yeah.
I think, and but recently I did a Tamagotchi, and that I
Oh
really enjoyed doing
no.
that. Yeah, I did it. I'll show you on my website. So I did a
Please.
Tamagotchi, and I was really happy I did that because it was like a goal accomplished. It felt like I did it. So, and then with that, it's like a lot more complex. There's so many layers, and you have to add certain shadows because with a Tamagotchi, the screen doesn't touch the outer shell. It's like slightly behind, so you have to make sure
Oh,
you add the
yeah.
shadow. So many things. When I show you the video, I'll show you like the breakdown. But
Okay.
yeah, it
Sweet.
might be that. But I do enjoy doing phones. But to be honest, it's between phones and computers or like
Mm.
old school video
Like
players.
the
They're like my
giant,
favorite.
the giant, oh, what
The
were those
head.
called?
Oh,
Yeah, what were
the
those called?
the
Like the
Windows
CPU?
skins.
No, no, no.
They were
The,
Windows
okay, yeah,
skins.
yeah.
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 I'll
Those
show
are
you some of them.
cool.
I
Please
got a
show us
batch
all
of
the
them.
things.
I will after. So yeah, I'm gonna do a
Perfect.
Motorola Razor just for you. Let me
Yay.
present. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole time and I wasn't. So let me
Well, let's get you back. You're back. You're back.
Okay,
We're
we're
back to
back. Okay.
the infinite
So
screen.
the
We're back.
infinite screen. So yes, now we go into this. So got the Motorola Razor. And I now have another video. I don't know how loud it's going to be, so please forgive me if it's like really loud. So this is a video that I made. Oh my God, it's so loud in my ears. I'm gonna mute it. There we go.
We can't even
So this
hear
is a
it.
video. You can't hear it. It's so loud in my
No.
ears. It's like blasting. But this is a video I made at like 4:20 in the morning, drunk
Oh
off
my
two Red
God.
Bulls after a concert. So I was like, this is a perfect video. Let me show
Wow.
you guys how to put any. So this technique you can use for any phone. Doesn't necessarily have to be Motorola's. It's any phone that is kind of old school, I should say, because one thing you need to remember is that they weren't as advanced as iPhones. So the
Mm-hmm.
colors and the precision and all of that stuff, you need to kind of get out of that mindset. Like things aren't going to be super sharp, things are going to be blurry. There's not going to be enough. They didn't have like a million colors like an
Yeah,
iPhone has.
no.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we need to ensure we add onto our videos to make it look
Mm-hmm.
as authentic as possible. So this is the video we're going to work with. Again, super simple, drag and drop, amazing. Now I'm just going to resize it. Resize it. I think I'm going to probably be about here. And then, like I said, I need to rub out the sides. So I go to my mask and then I will just rub out the sides. I'm just doing this the longer way. I usually have like some crazy other techniques, but I feel like if I show that, you're just going to be overwhelmed. So I'm just doing like the easy way. So yeah, you rub out the sides, and now I perfectly fits inside this Motorola Razr. I now am going to create my video timeline. Again, you got to drag it to the end. Perfect. So now when I play it, I am inside the phone. And yeah, and
Love. Yes.
also with these ones too, you don't have to make them glitchy. Sometimes I do ever so slightly, but you don't have to if you don't want to. That's just me being super extra and super anal. Right. So with
I
this
love it.
one, it's super simple. You want to go to, oh, let me make sure I align them. So you want to go down to your layers folder, whoops, and then you want to add a posterize, right? You're going to make sure your posterize is above your video but under the phone, as you can see. And I look crazy, but that's because the best way to explain it is bunched like all the colors together. I'm not sure if there's a technical term, but it basically bunches all the colors together and if I drag it to the other side, you will see that it goes back to normal. But when I drag it back, I don't know if you can see the colors are kind of bunching and it's becoming like less and less detailed. It's not really showing that well. But if I move the scene, okay, if you can see if I bring it down a bit, it's like bunching up the colors. You can't see it that well, but you need to do this basically. So I usually have mine on maybe like you can play around depending on your video, but I'm gonna do mine on maybe like a 21. And then when I play it, it's still normal, but can you see how the colors are like a little bit fuzzy almost?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that's basically what I do to all of my videos just to make it look authentic because if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the videos on a Motorola Razr, they're not going to be sharp and they're
Yeah, they're
not going to be
grainy.
pristine. Exactly, exactly. So that's
Yeah.
basically it. So I might turn the levels down a tiny bit more. Perfect. And that's literally it. That is it. So again, I will drag a good old texture behind it. Let's resize it just to make it cool, just make it look cool, make it pop. This was actually meant to be for the other phone, meant to be for this phone, but
Ah,
I'm
wow.
gonna just show you. I'll show you the one I did earlier anyway. But
Okay.
then you just drag it underneath everything, and there you have it. You literally have your cool Motorola phone or whatever phone looking authentic as possible, and it's just done in like a couple seconds. So here's one I did
I love how
earlier on the
playful you are.
phone.
Like, I love that for one that you recorded that video like 4 in the morning. You're like, yes, like I'm vibing. Like I'm just like I feel like wild, whatever. And you recorded it, and then you were like, yeah, I'm gonna use
Yeah,
that. Like I'm
yeah,
gonna use that. I think that kind of, but that playful energy, that like not taking yourself too seriously, I feel like helps you to keep an open mind and come up with like tons of ideas that you couldn't if you're
definitely.
just very, I don't know, like in your head too much. So this is cool.
Definitely. Yeah, man, just live life. Like some of the videos I make, I can just be laying down on the bed and I just hold the camera above me, do something really random and be like, okay, I'm going to use this for something. Sometimes I even put it to the side and then I come back
Uh-huh.
and use it. But yeah, this is the finished one on the other phone that I did. So this is how it looks. It's really loud in my ears, so I've muted it. But yeah, this is how it will look. You can see that like the video doesn't have all of the colors. It's a little bit grainy. And yeah, I've added the texture behind it, but I've given you a selection of all the phones. I think there's like 5 or 6 Nokias and then 2 Motorola's. So you can mess around. And now you know how to do it. Now you know how to do this technique. If you're advanced yourself, then you can just do this with like lots of other phones and anything, to be honest. Like once you know how to do this technique, you can do phones, you can do computer screens, you can do anything. Next on my agenda is a Game Boy, so that's what I'm going to be doing next.
Oh
And
my God,
yeah,
the ultimate nostalgic thing. A Game
yes,
Boy. I
so that's
love. That's so cool that
literally.
you did a Tamagotchi too, though.
Thanks. I'll show you on my website in a sec. I don't know if you want me to go straight into my website or if anyone has questions. I can't see everything, so I don't know if there's questions in. Okay, now I'm looking at
Yeah.
YouTube. Oh my God, there's so many questions on YouTube. Thanks, guys.
I
Um,
know. So
oh,
great.
hi
And
everyone.
another
Oh.
like question too that I had when I was watching it is just like, so I know you do a lot of things like analog, right?
Yeah,
So do you, when you take video yourself, do you use like an old kind of like, those old digital cameras? Like how are you capturing your own footage right now?
I
Are you
have a
using just your
VHS
iPhone and
camera.
then
Sometimes I
okay.
use my iPhone and then I can just kind of decrease the quality and make it look really poor. But 3 out of 4
Mm.
times I'm using a VHS camera. I've literally got so many. I should have one right next to me. Hold on. I've always got one. I've always got a VHS camera on me. So this is my newest one that I kind of roll around with, but I
No
have like
way.
big ones. I've got a whole shelf. If my room wasn't such a mess, I would actually show you my shelf. But I have a whole shelf of cameras. But yeah, so I record most of the stuff on this and then upload it onto the computer and
Wow.
then yeah, upload it onto the computer and then work with that. Because for me personally, I feel like that's what adds the real authenticity. I can't have my stuff like
Hmm.
super sharp. I'm really, 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 really particular with that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so most of the videos that you've seen were filmed on that, but it could easily be done with anything. Um,
Wow.
I on my TikTok somewhere, I've done a breakdown of like a CRT filter,
Hmm.
and I'll explain what that is on my website. But that
Hmm.
one, I would have like an iPhone footage, and then I'd put that filter on it, and it will distort it, so I don't even need to worry about video cameras or
Mm.
any of that stuff. Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Thanks. Okay, I can go in. I don't know. Should I go into my website right now? I'm not going to be able to see you
Yeah,
guys
I
again.
guess.
Okay, so let me share my screen. I would just do the window actually. I don't think I need to do the infinite screen. Let me just do the window. Let me have it up ready. Hold on. Technical difficulties. I'm seeing this message. Oh, well, now you have an excuse to bring your Nokia back. Go for it. Okay, let me share my screen if this will work. Okay, perfect. So, can I see you guys? No, I can't see you again, but it's fine. So this is my screen. Can you guys see it? Oh, I can't hear you, Danielle.
No, that was me. I muted myself.
Oh,
It's
oh,
fine.
okay.
Just causing myself problems. Like it's it's good. We're fine.
Well, this is my website. I finally, do you know what? Thank God I stayed up till 5 in the morning finishing it because I didn't know you were going to show me or I was going to show it.
Oh my
But
God.
I'm so happy that I stayed up and did it because look at God. Like now it's
Yes.
ready to show. If any of you guys see any typos, please just look past it for the video's sake because again, I was editing these videos or this website at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So
Oh
just
my God.
it will be fixed by the time you look again. So yes, this is my homepage. I made these blobs actually. I specifically wanted to have something orange and moving. I think because I wanted to be really intentional about being a motion. designer. I wanted you guys to
Hmm.
see as soon as you went on my website that I'm a motion designer and I can make stuff. That's kind of what it is.
Mm.
Okay, so we enter, and then these are my projects. Hopefully everything loads in time. So I'm just gonna browse through so they load. Okay, great. So these are just some of the things I've worked on. Converse, and Offspring. Thrifting with Pearly is my four-part series that I host, which talks about conversations around secondhand shopping in the Black community, which is really cool. I've got two episodes out, so check it out. And then I did some work with Mahalia last year. She's an
Oh,
international artist,
so cool.
global artist, but she's from the UK. Rags Original, another fave. He makes some amazing music, so check him out. Then I don't know if anyone in the UK went to the Missing Thread exhibition. That happened, and I had a video. So I did some filming and editing for the video that was in there. I was in like a small room. Then I've got my graphic design, 3D motion. I've just started working with Tiana Major 9 on her single Alone. Check that out. Phenomenal. She is an amazing artist. Did some work with Recess at Drum Sheds and also Recess Land. Razor
Wow.
Denim is my sustainable brand. So this is if you want to see nostalgia, it's gonna all be here. That's where I'm really able to like come alive and make crazy bits. Then I
Mm.
have various logo designs that I've done over the past couple years. This one, I did a zine with a company called Roadcasting, and we had the launch for the zine in Paris. So I helped design the
Mm.
storefront, as you can see, and then I worked on the zine and designed some of the merch that was given away. Then Mini Kings, Iced Out Summer, New Skincare, and Iconacy. I worked on those campaigns. I've done some merch design. And then last year, September, I had a show with the amazing Daniel Odunton. And we did a whole
Wow.
kind of like media studies with analog tech. It was crazy.
Hmm.
We obviously had like we just had so much disruptions. Whatever you think could go wrong, but that's what happens when you use analog tech. And
Yep.
then I've done a lot of branding with George, DJ George, and she has a monthly event called Journeys. I don't know if any of you guys have been to
Mm.
it, but I do all the branding for that. So these are like the projects. I don't know if you want me to go into them or click in any of them because they're
You
quite
are
intense.
so cool. You're so cool.
Thank
Okay, show
you.
us like at least one.
Okay, what can I even show you? Um, hmm, I'll do Rags Original because that's more of like a case study. And I worked on um his album and his deluxe. So as you can see, just a little bio. These are the tools that I use to create all of the stuff. I didn't do the logo. It's always great to give credit where credit is due. As great as I could have uploaded this, I need to still make it clear that it wasn't me that did the logo. It's amazing. It wasn't me,
Yeah,
but it's
we
still
love
there.
teamwork. We love it. We love a team
Yes.
project.
So his song called Ice that came out, I actually edited the video. It's my first
Mm.
ever music video editing. And it was really great.
Hey.
So these are just some of the snippets instead of having to watch through the video.
Hmm.
Amazing creative director, Shikana. Yeah, this was just a crazy set. I actually came on set doing the BTS photography, which is what you can find here. It's just my screen is huge, so you can't really see it. So I came on board to do BTS photography, and Rags's editor wasn't able to work on the video anymore, and there was like a tight turnaround. So I was just like, oh yeah, like I can help out as and when, not thinking anything of it. And he was just like, oh my God, when are you free? Like, let's let's do it now. So I was just like, oh my
Yes.
God, oh my God, like I'm gonna edit this video. So that's
This is
basically what
so
happened.
beautiful.
Thanks. But yeah, the video is really cool. So check it out. It's on my website. You can find it on YouTube. And then the
Ugh.
BCS photography. And then I also worked on the cover art. So that's how it looks on Spotify
Hmm.
and Apple Music and the full credits because you have to give the full credits. And as you can see, I did the edit here and BTS
Wow, yeah.
photography. Same thing again with Crossfire. He was like, "Do you know what? You did Ice. Let's do Crossfire." So I ended up doing the second one. Same thing. Amazing video. Like these are some of the snippets again. I learned how to do these really cool zooms that ended up being like my favorite feature in the video. I figured that out on the day of. So you can see these like really subtle zooms as she like moves. And I was just like, oh, just figured it out. And I was just like, yeah, we're gonna keep it. So did that again, more BTS photography because that's why I actually came on board. But I still ended up having some like really amazing pictures. I was like, cool, yeah, I'm down. Like I feel a bit more confident now. Let's go. And then yeah, full
Ugh,
credits again. Three for
wow.
three. We did Show Me, which is the last single he's put out. And then these were some of the snippets. So this was like a very crazy video, very crazy, eclectic, fun, random. Like this was a fun video to edit because I didn't have to follow any guidelines. I just did whatever I wanted to do basically. So this was really cool. And for this video, I did the grading. So that was the first time I've ever graded a music video too, because he was like,
Oh my God, that's
Maria, why?
hard.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And he was just
And by
like, Maria,
grading, you
why are
mean
you
like you
here?
did all the color grading for this?
Yeah, so the color
Yeah.
grading, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's all filmed flat and it's basically like gray. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
now kind of use your eye and predict what the skin tones look like. It was crazy. But he was
Wow.
like, "Oh yeah, I believe in you. You can do it." And I was like, "I've never done this before." He's like, "It's fine, just do it." And I did. So that's that. More BTS photography. So yeah, this is just kind of like a case study of like what I've worked on. Full credits, and then I did some edit and grading for some other snippets. This is like exclusive. This isn't even out yet, so feel free to have a gander.
Ooh, sneak
Um,
peeks. We love it.
and then this is how some of my photography was used. It's still quite surreal to see it on Spotify. Like I get an email to be like, "Oh, Rags Original is announced this," and I'm just like, oh my god, I have this this photo on my computer. This is mine. It's just very crazy to see it. So yeah, just kind of seeing it in action. And then this was Bear Sugar, his first album. So I worked on some of the graphics. I actually did the credits inside the sleeve of the CD and the vinyl, and I did the vinyl label. So I designed those and this yellow, tiny yellow spine. So I designed that. And then, yeah, for his first album, I did a lot of the cover art. So I took a lot of the photos for these. And then, yeah, I did his tour poster, first tour poster I ever did. And then I did some of the assets. Sorry, my screen is so big. I did some of the assets for his launch. And then, yeah, these are just some of the press shots that I did. It was used again on Spotify. And this was the postcard that he gifted people. So that is Rags Original. And it's, yeah, it's quite similar to Mahalia as well. I would just browse through because these two are kind of like case studies. So I did the visuals for her at Glastonbury. That was crazy. I think one of my actual like crazy moments for me just career wise is her parents after the show or after her performance, her parents came to find me specifically and they were just like, who did the visuals, who did the visuals, and I was like, me. And they were like,
You're
they were
kidding. Oh
amazing.
my
Yeah,
God, that's
they came to personally
amazing.
thank me, and I was just like, this is kind of surreal. This is really surreal. Both
Yeah.
of them like found they were I could hear them asking who did the visuals, so they were just like, yeah, it
No,
made
that's so
so much of
great.
a difference, and that's probably one of the highlights of my career, having
Yeah,
Mahalia's parents
wow.
thank me. So
Come
yeah, you can
on.
watch the full performance there. And then yeah, these are just some of the snippets of the visuals that you would see behind.
Hmm.
Just some like tour posters and stuff that I've done. She did a song with Jojo, so I did some of the assets, some more tour posters. I did a lot of like BTS on VHS because she loved that kind of style at the time. So I would like follow her around with my camera and we just did crazy things. As you can see, I was on the stage with her at Glastonbury. So as
Oh,
much as
like,
I am
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it was very crazy. So as much as I did the visuals, I was also doing some work with Puma with her, and I needed to film her as she was performing. So while she's on the stage, I'm actually in the corner. So I was on the stage as well at the front. So the whole audience that she was performing in front of were also in front of me, which was absolutely insane.
I could
Um,
imagine. Like, I could
yeah, I was
imagine. Like, I would be absolutely wrecked. My nerves would be absolutely wrecked.
it was crazy, and I had to just be there with an iPhone, just like filming her. I was just like,
Oh my
this
God,
is
that's so
crazy.
epic. That's so epic.
Um, yeah, so I did some of her merch as well. I hope that someone has this, and I would love for someone to send me a photo of
Oh,
them. I drew this out, and that was really cool. And then yeah, I did some stuff for Mahalia Presents. There's actually one right now. There's one going on right now on Mahalia Presents. I'm not sure if this is still the merch
wow.
they use, but it could be. And then I did some photography with her and Pandora. So yeah, that's just kind of like some of the projects. Let me go on to maybe graphic design might be cool, and then I'll move on to the lab. So this is some of the graphic design that I've done. I've been doing it for years, but I was like, let me just do from 2021 when it was a bit more refined. So yeah, these are just some of the random bits that I've done on my website, just things that I've just been like, I need to get this idea out of my mind. So this, for example, hello, my name is Maria. I made it from scratch. So it started as a blank page, and then I made the rectangle, I made it red, I
Mm-hmm.
made it white, I typed it in, added the texture on it, and then I drew my name out, scanned it in, put it in like it just looks so
Oh,
simple,
that's
like I've just
cool.
drawn on it, but I made it all from scratch, and
Yeah.
it's just one of my proudest
You've got a
moments.
bunch of different elements, and yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. And yeah, so this is also when I discovered how to do that like nostalgic fonts where it looks almost like 3D. When I discovered it, I was like, this is it. I'm good, guys. Like I don't need to create graphics anymore. I've hit the pinnacle of success. And this particular artwork is literally my iPhone wallpaper till
Mm-hmm.
this day because I was just
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy. But yeah, this is just when I was like really experimenting. I don't know if you guys remember the screen munch on BBM. Most people can hear this photo. Do you remember it, Danielle?
Yes.
You, did you ever have the screen munch? Did you ever have this? Yeah, it was literally like my life. Yeah, so this is just all like experimental things that I did over the years. Like I said, a lot of the stuff was
Hmm.
just I have an idea in my
Maybe.
head and I need to see it out. I need to see it through. So that was that. And
I don't
then
know.
it
I feel like it seems familiar, but
was a thing. I don't know if did they have it in the US? I'm not sure, but I know like in London, the
I
screen
don't think
munch was a
so.
thing. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so last but not least, actually, I don't know which one to choose from. So there's 3D motion. I'm just gonna skim through this actually. So these are the things that I'm doing 3D wise. I need to get back on it because I'm so rusty. It is unreal. But this is like the 3D stuff. I made this graphic before I upgraded my computer, and it took 3 days to render. 3 days. Those who were with me while I was counting down. I had my computer on for 3 days straight rendering.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've upgraded my computer and
Oh,
I could
that's so
probably do that
good.
render in a few
That's so
minutes.
good.
So yeah, you can just have a browse. Like I don't want to bore you guys going through every single element, but this is just some of my 3D exploration. But I wanted to end with razor denim. So as you can read, I've got my sustainable denim brand that I started in 2018. And I just love the fact that I've kind of created my own personal playground. And I love all things
I don't think
nostalgic,
so.
as you can see. I think you're lagging a bit, Danielle. I'm not sure how far behind you are. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a lag. Oh man, don't worry.
Weird,
We'll
right?
yeah, I can see your message. You're lagging. It's fine. It's fine. Um, yeah, so this is just my nostalgic brain, basically. So this is what I was talking about with all of like the Windows Media things that I love to like recreate and the skins and the old school Macs and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So this is just where I have like loads of fun. And this is kind of what you see throughout the brand. So I guess you can say this is the brand's identity. Then there's some of my photography, some work that I've done. And then, yeah, you can just have like a gander. This is like a video that I've done as well, which is quite cool, but there won't be sound. yeah, you can just have a play around with like, or not play around, you can just have a gander and it will just take you back to a time and a place that you are probably super fond of. And that's just what I love to create when it comes to razor denim. It's just great fun. It's great fun for me. And I do this stuff in my sleep. And I'm just grateful at the fact that I've been able to kind of cultivate my own playground and I can do whatever I want to do. I don't have to answer to anyone. Whatever I want to do, I can do, which is really great fun. Um, yeah, so this is some more um assets that I've made.
Honestly, you
This
saying I do this in my sleep is just crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I just do this in my sleep. Like, no big deal. I don't know.
honest,
Like,
it's
girl,
so
you
easy
can
for
only do
me.
this in your sleep because, but that's only because you've actually put it in. Like, you've put in those
Yeah.
hours. Like, you've put in that work. You studied, you were self-taught, you took classes, you found a skill that you wanted to know how to do and you put the time in. Like that's how you can do it in your sleep. That's why you can be like,
Yeah.
let me knock that out. Like let me knock this out. It's because of your skill. Like come on,
Yes.
please.
Put in your 10,000 hours, guys. But also
Yes,
it's like
yes.
determination. So I'm someone that I won't sleep until I complete it. I will not
Yeah,
sleep. Or if I do
yeah.
sleep, I wake up, I shower, and I pick up exactly where I left off. So those who were
Mm,
with me like 2020 times, especially when I first started doing 3D, it was a ride. That's all I can say. I took you guys on a ride. So yeah, this is just some of the assets. So these are the really old school things that I love to make. So this is like the skins, the Nokia. This was the first Motorola I ever did. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I was such a baby. Like now I can do this with precision, which is what I've now shared with you guys. But this was the first ever one. So, oh my God, this is so cool, cool Motorola. And then this is one of my favorite projects. Razor 2002, where I had my
wow.
friends come in and pretend to do like the editorial. So I made it like super old school with like the graphics and
Wow.
stuff. And yeah, this is one of my favorite projects. So that's Razor. And yeah, so this is my
Wow,
projects
wow,
page,
wow.
everything kind of like combined. And now I'm gonna head over to thank you. Yeah, there is so much content. Sometimes I do
Oh my
get worried that
gosh.
I'm like fatigued. Like I get fatigued, or those who go on my website get fatigued because there is so much. But then I just kind
Mm,
of learned over time that I was like, you know what? I actually did the stuff, like I did it, and not
yeah.
everyone is going to go through every single thing meticulously. So I realized that all of this stuff is there and is available for
Mm-hmm.
consumption, and that's
Mm-hmm.
because I did the work. So I'm just putting out what I've done, and everyone kind of has their own journey, and they can just go on whatever journey they want to go on my website and just go on their own ride. And yeah, thank you for that.
That's so
Thank you for that
good.
comment as well. So yeah, I'm gonna take you to my lab, and my lab is basically the space where there's no rules or regulations. I just do whatever I like. That is literally it because as much as I have my page of projects, there's a lot of stuff that I do, like the phones, like the TV, the CRT filters, and there isn't really a place for that on this page. So I needed to make sure I had a space where I can just explore and you kind of get to know a bit more about who I am, what my skill set is, what I can create, etc., etc. And it's a blend between my website and my Instagram. I feel like this is a really nice happy medium. So yeah, let's go over to the lab. Here we go. I'm gonna wait for everything to load. Hopefully it loads. Um, so yeah, let me just skim through so it's loaded. This should load. Fantastic. Take you to the top. So this was my exploration with MetaHuman. You can go through that yourself. I actually did this with Olivia Emma, my amazing, fantastic best friend. She
Love
introduced
her
me to
so
this.
much.
Love Olivia. I love you, Olivia. I love you, Olivia.
Oh, you two are
So
just like,
she,
oh my God. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Back to
so
the story. Keep going.
so yeah, she introduced me to MetaHuman and 3D, loads of other things. But this when she first did it, because if you go on her website, she has like a whole video and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, Olivia, this is phenomenal. What is this? But my computer couldn't handle it at the time. So I had to just sit and patiently wait. And then when I finally upgraded, I was like, yes, I can do it. So I'll play a video. So this is like me that I created. This is as close to myself as I think I look. I think it looks like me. So yeah, you can just create yourself. They don't have like the hairstyles aren't that great, and this is like the best it had because I didn't want to have an afro, and they didn't have braids. So I was like, you know what, this is as good as it gets, and that was that on that. But
Well,
yeah,
this is why we
MetaHuman is like
need you like
amazing.
in there, like messing around with
Yes.
it, creating the demand for, you know, multiple hair textures. No, I love it. Like it's kind of in the same way that you were like, I'm going to take this tool and figure out what I want to create with it. Like it's exactly what you did with editing video on Photoshop. It's exactly what you're doing with like playing around with this 3D like motion design, creating a meta human. Like we love women in STEM.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I like to put my own spin on things. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
usually like my thing. I tend to find just by default, I'm just not someone who I usually go against the grain by default, and it's not even intentional. I just might see something and be like, oh, I want to see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do that. And then it just ends up going left. But yeah, hopefully they're developing and they have more hairstyles. But for now, we work with this. So I also have these like cool blob illustrations that I just randomly woke up one day and just drew. And I realized that they're super therapeutic. And then I started integrating them with my photography. And I just love them. I need to do them more. Um, but yeah, it's just something that I love. And that's my little illustration. It's good sometimes to put like pen to paper. It's a really nice feeling. So I'll do that, scan it in, and then I'll color it and then integrate it in my work. So this here, this is my love for heat mapping or like faux heat
Mm,
mapping. So
mm-hmm.
this was done in Photoshop as well. I can only do this in Photoshop, this effect. And I
Mm,
made this filter. I made this filter from scratch. So this heat mapping filter, I made it
mm-hmm.
myself. I I'm gonna
So
make like
cool.
another one. Thank you. I'll make another one, and then I might do another breakdown of like how to use it. But it's just as simple as like
Yes.
dragging and dropping. But
Mm-hmm.
this is literally one of my favorite things in life to create. Anything heat mapping is just the
Wow.
best. Or like what I love doing as well is finding like 90s rave scenes and then
Uh-huh.
putting the filter over it and just kind of messing around, and then it just gives this kind of like psychedelic feel, and it gives
Yes.
it like a new lease of life. Do you know what I mean? So that's something that I find really fun. You can do it with like different colors as well. So I think with this one, for example, I just focused on the blues and the reds and the oranges. So it doesn't always have to be that. There's an infinite amount of colors you can use. It's just like a cool gradient map overlay. But yeah, and like even with
But
this
also the
one
90s
again,
dancing, like, oh my God. It's
it's
like
crazy.
you're,
Like all of
but I
like
just,
it's
but I like what
insane.
I love about it is like you are so like you are stuck in with your branding. Like you're like, I am going to do nostalgia. Like
I live in
I'm
the
going
past.
to take us all the way back, and I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I live in the past. It just makes me happy. It's the period in my life where I just felt happy. I've always loved and appreciated the culture, the clothes, the aesthetics, everything. And I just that's something that I just want to honor. And I'm a 90s baby myself. So I'm just like, why not? And I also I think I said in our thing, our call before, I was basically saying how me having my brand and my overall aesthetic as like modern day nostalgia almost feels kind of like a time warp. So it's like I can film something in 2024 using analog equipment that was probably from like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the footage, it's like, wow, this is how life would have appeared in the 80s or 90s. But then also the other side of it is, wow, um, if someone was in the 80s or 90s, they're seeing what is going on in 2024 and how they're
Mm,
still using the equipment. So I feel like it just takes you in this like time loop. It's just really cool to
mm-hmm,
me. And yeah,
mm-hmm,
again, for me, authenticity is like crucial. So if I want
mm,
to create something that was from the 80s or 90s, I
mm-hmm.
have to find the equipment that was used then and use that and make sure everything
Yeah,
is like to the T. So that's just
yeah.
kind of how I am. Super anal
I
about
think
that stuff,
too,
but makes
like
all the
there's
difference.
the the woman that I interviewed. Actually, I guess I've been on a roll because I think this was like last week. I don't know since that I interviewed her. Her name is Sydney Oriolua, and she's actually
Mm.
like it's so similar with the nostalgia. Like she just did a project called Circa 1998 and
Oh
opened in St.
wow.
Louis, and it was just like this beautiful project where she, yeah, I mean, took this camera like and just went out and photographed things and just like is telling the story of what's happening now in modern day but from this lens, like, and that was the year that I think her the camera was made that she was
Oh
doing her photography
wow.
on was in 1998. And so
Wow.
it was just, and I think I mentioned you to her in the chat because I'm like, oh my God, I have, like, you guys have to meet each other. Like, this is so crazy. And she's like, no way. And I have so much family in London. Like, it was just a really fun kind of like conversation
Yeah,
about
send her
how,
stuff.
you know, I will. Like, making introductions between creatives is like my top three favorite things. Um, but like one of the things that really is kind of standing out to me is like we as you know our whole kind of generation went from this whole analog life, this whole unplugged life to like then we got our CDs and we started with our like CD players and just like all these
Hmm.
things where we slowly got more and more involved in technology. And I saw this meme and it's just so funny, but it's like, how are we the generation where like I had to teach my mom how to use the printer, but I'm also going to teach my kids how to use the printer because somehow like
Literally.
somehow like we're just the ones in the middle, like, and it is
Literally.
funny, it's funny, but we know how to like for lack of like a better word, like jailbreak things. So like we know how to
Yeah,
like to kind of make things our own and like really break it down because we saw how it was built, you know, like we saw how these things were made.
definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. And yeah, we're the millennials that are kind of like pre-internet. Like
Yeah.
we were around before the internet and we are
Mm-hmm.
now here in this new digital age. So it is crazy, but it is nice to
Mm-hmm.
go back. And for me as
Yeah.
well, I love the stories that people tell. Like when you
Mm.
saw the phone and you're like, oh my God, I had that phone. I just like
Yeah.
hearing that. It's just so nice. People just share their stories. Oh, I had this when I was 8 and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
another way for me to just kind of like communicate with people. But yeah, this one as well is the CRT filters that I spoke about. I have a
Mm-hmm.
breakdown on my TikTok of like how to make it, and in my Gumroad, you can download it for free. Or in on my Instagram, in my broadcast channel for graphics, it should be in there. And you can just download the CRT filter, and then I have a video
Mm-hmm.
explaining how to use it. But yeah, so this is just like so this was shot on an iPhone, and then I just
Mm.
put the CRT filter, and then it just turns into this. So then now you guys know how to like put stuff and edit in video. You can get like a TV, even if you went onto like Google and typed in like TV PNG, so that has like no background or nothing in it, and then you can just slot this kind of video in there, and then you have a TV. I'll show you an example further down. But yeah, so these are the CRT filters and just how they look. And these like this is why these two are at the top because the CRT filters and these heat mapping are my top things to make. That might answer Liv's question. The CRT filters are probably my favorite thing to make. I just love the way they look. I just think they're phenomenal. And the fact that you can do
Yeah.
it with anything, like whatever footage you put in, you can just turn it into something else.
Mm.
Like it's just so fun for me. And yeah, I made the filter from scratch again. I
Uh-huh.
found I would say from scratch, almost from scratch. So I found a photo online and then I
Mm-hmm.
managed to like tweak it and just do all kinds of like crazy stuff to get it like this. And then
Uh-huh.
now I have that available to give away. Same way,
Wait, which
I can
one?
just
Which one are you talking about? Which
so
image
this
from the?
CRT filter, so this fourth one. So the layer, the
Ah, okay,
filter
yeah,
on top of
got
it,
it.
yeah, so the filter on top of it is called CRT.
Got
So
it.
when you put it over something, it just creates this really cool effect, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
just have fun with whatever videos you want to make. So yeah, that's
Oh,
that.
so cool.
Thank you. So earlier, I'm not going to go through everything, but earlier I said
Mm-hmm.
I also love putting myself in like computer screens and old school desktops and things like that. So this is just
Mm-hmm.
kind of a series of different ones that I've put myself in
Oh, I
because it's
see that. It's
just
like you're in the paint program. Did you
yeah,
have that?
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the wallpaper, the wall like the screensaver. So I put
Mm-hmm.
myself as a screensaver. These things are all up on my Instagram, and you can play the videos when you go in there too. So yeah, I would like put myself in all of these random things, and it's just really fun for me. Like I'm just like, oh wow, if people were using Windows Media Player, what would that look like right now? And it would look
Wow.
like
Yeah.
this. So I just have the time of my life.
Uh,
Like any little time I have, I'll find any sort of like old school media player and then I'll just put myself inside. And
yep.
for this one, this particular gray one, can I enlarge it? Can I enlarge it? Yes, I can. So this is
Oh,
probably a
wow.
better way to see. Can you see how the colors are like broken around it and it's not very
Yeah, yeah.
clear? That
Mm-hmm.
is basically the posterize that I said to do on the Motorola phones. So you can see that
I
it hasn't got all the
see.
colors and it
Yeah.
breaks it down because this
Mm-hmm.
with this media, I think no, Windows or Microsoft, whatever it was at the time, it did not have all of
Microsoft
the
for
colors.
sure.
Yeah, it
No.
didn't have all of the colors. So you need to lessen the color so it looks real. And then I did this
Oh
random
my God.
iCarly
Oh my
iCarly
God.
video.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was just feeling really, really random. So I just decided to put myself in an
That's so
iCarly
throwback.
video.
No, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
so that's just me being. I think my daughter filmed this. I was like, "Can you come outside and film me?"
Oh.
And then she came and like filmed it for me. So
Yes.
yeah, that's just some of the videos I've got. I've got loads and 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 loads. So you
Wow.
can just,
Wow.
and that's even like, what's this? MySpace? Did MySpace? So
Stop.
yeah,
MySpace. I feel like
yeah.
they're gonna
Does
bring it
any?
back. I feel like it could make a comeback, right?
I don't think it's gonna be the same. It's not gonna hit the same. I hope it
No, yeah,
does, but
you're
I don't
right.
think
You're
it's gonna
right.
be
It
the
wouldn't hit
same.
the
Like
same.
yeah, like we were doing HTML coding. They're not gonna do that. They're not doing
Nah,
that.
you're
They're gonna
right. They're
try and make it
definitely not gonna do
easy.
that.
No, we were coding. So that's my space. Just loads of random things I've done, and it's just fun for me. Then a while ago, I need to get back on this. It's called Maria Pigeon in 2D. So I would turn myself into different illustrations and just do like a black version, especially a black dark skin version because you're not going to see that. So
Yes,
I would make it
yes.
as authentic to my skin tone and myself as I could, and I just
Mm-hmm.
recreated myself as a black version of these random things. So
Oh my
I
God, I
need to get
love
back on
that.
this. I think
I
do I
love
have one
that.
pending? I'm not sure. But yeah, so
Wow.
and then this is my daughter when she was younger. So it's me and my daughter as
Oh,
little
so cute.
illustrations. So yeah, I'm just gonna like whiz through. This is again another selection of phones what actually inspired this whole chat anyway, or
Project.
this
Yeah.
live stream. Yeah, it's just because
Yep.
I always mess around with phones and I just have like different ones and different variations, and I just think this like cool to make and just to see
Yeah.
what would I look like, what would the content in 2024 look like inside a phone from 2008. And this is the Tamagotchi that I made.
Oh my
So
God.
this is like
Oh, it's
my
so
prized
great.
possession.
I love
Yeah, it took
that.
a lot of figuring out. So just to break it down, so I found the picture online on
Hmm.
Google. I had to like remove the background so I can have autonomy of whatever I want to do. And then I had
Hmm.
a random video of me smiling, and then I had to glitch it out. But this one I had to really like Tamagotchis did not even move as fast as Nokia phones. So I had to now find a video that
Yeah.
would work that wouldn't be too slow or lag too much. Then
Hmm.
I don't know if you how well you guys can see the green lines behind that. I had
Oh,
to put
yeah.
that in there. Yeah, so that's another layer. So you have to like put that in there
Ah.
and just there's so much that you have to do to make it authentic. And then if you look, you can see like there's a shadow all around it. So those are like there's a lot of intricate layers that you have to do in order to make it authentic. But yeah, that this Tamagotchi is probably one of my prized possessions because I just figured it out and that was my main thing. I figured out how to do it. Am I going to do it again? I'm not sure. Maybe the Game Boy will give me like similar vibes. And yeah, that's my Tamagotchi. And this was the first Nokia phone that I was talking about that I didn't like it that much because
Oh.
it didn't feel authentic because I was like
Uh-huh.
Nokias don't have shadows. They don't have like
Mm-hmm.
tone. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
that this is like dark green to light green. They don't have that. They
Mm-hmm.
just literally had green and black. So I was like,
You're like,
okay,
it
I've
would be
done
worse
this.
than this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is too detailed. It's not gonna,
Yeah.
and it just really hurt my heart. So I was like, I have to find a way to figure it out, which is why we have what
Yes.
we have today. And then that's how we ended up with this, which is just solely green and black and real. So I was just like, perfect. I've cracked the code. And now you guys have the code as well because I can't remember how to do it again. So I'm just giving it to you as is. And yeah, so this is just like the rest of my messing around. Like I said, I play around with a lot of like analog tech. So
Mm-hmm.
I love doing like glitching and all of this stuff with like VHS. It's just something I just love it. I love the texture and the feel and all of that jazz. And this is something that I was very proud to make, but I'm devastated because this camera that I used to make it stopped working. So I can't do
No.
it. It's just an excuse for me to buy another camera, so it's fine. Don't be sad.
It's a win.
It's fine.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. So yeah, these are just some other things that I've done and made. This is like again the CRT filter in action, just kind of seeing like a different version of it. Um, I went through a phase as well of like a lot of collaging. So I would like
Mm-hmm.
this one in particular. Oh my God, this like nearly killed me.
Which
This
one?
was one of this pink one. Let me enlarge
Mm-hmm.
it. So this one was one of those ones that I was like, I'm not sleeping until I figure out how to do this.
Oh no.
And I didn't sleep until maybe like 2, 3 in the morning. And this is because I needed to figure out how to make it look like I had cut out the images and scanned them in without actually doing
Oh
that.
wow.
So yeah, they're
Wow.
actually just all screenshots. They're all
Oh my
screenshots. So
gosh.
I had to like layer the texture over it so that it
Mm-hmm.
looks like you know how like when you scan something, it just looks a bit weird because of the ink. I had to do all of
Yep.
that stuff. And yeah, I figured it out in the end, which was great, but it was
It looks
crazy.
beautiful. You're
Thank
killing
you.
me with the floppy disk over there too. Like,
Yeah.
what? What? Come
I lo I
on.
I literally went on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and I just bought a load of floppy disks for no reason at all. I do not know what I'm gonna do with them yet, but I'm gonna do something with them. But I have a whole bunch of floppy disks, which is just so unnecessary, but it makes sense. And yeah, this is a real one of like I screenshot every frame, printed it out, scanned it back in. So this is real and this is fake, but they 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 both look cool.
Wow. Wow.
And
Like, I will
yes,
say,
yeah,
oh,
sure.
this is just like a funny thing, but like I my iPhone broke for like a month and
Yeah.
but like the Apple store had it, so I was like I have nothing to do, but I decided to get like a really cheap like this is my tiny this is my and I had this for a month and I got to play Snake and I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, I'm taken all the way back. I had to remember how to text. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I
the
gotta press this
three.
button like three
Yep.
times. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But like I got to play with like a lot of the old like emoticons and stuff for a while and
I'm sure it
it
was
was fun.
fun.
Like it was
It,
nice to be unplugged. It was
yeah.
nice.
It's
It was
definitely
nice.
inconvenient with this day and age, but it's nice
Oh my
sometimes to
God.
just slow down. Literally,
Yeah.
it's nice to slow
Yeah.
down.
Absolutely.
This was one of my first. This is when I
Oh wow.
almost cracked it. I almost cracked it. It's not quite what
Mm-hmm.
we made today, but this is when I was nearly there. It's like it's not laggy enough. There's shadow. And yeah, so it's been like a process.
Yeah.
But yeah, even
Wow.
here, like this particular one, don't know if you could see my mouse. This particular one is like it's called Frame Me Up. And then I just would put myself in like different frames and just let myself take the shape, or just this was the original video of the that drunk one that I did. This was how it originally looked. But yeah, I went through another phase of just putting myself in frames just to be like, if I was in an exhibition and I was up on a wall, or if I was somewhere, how would I look if I was framed? And that's just kind of what I did. So I had quite a lot of fun doing these. And yeah, this was like my green screen. When I had my studio, I had a studio for a couple of years actually, and I had one of the green coloramas, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do a green screen and just see how it works. And I was obsessed. I was
I
obsessed.
love
I was like,
it.
this is
I love it. I
amazing.
would have been playing with that like all the time.
Oh my God, it was crazy. Like once I discovered, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
due to do something. This
Yeah.
one is quite funny. This is mainly has a lot of British isms. So for the people in the US who who are looking at this, these are some of the old school phrases that we used to we used to use back in the day. So there's a lot of things that you guys will not understand. But if you want to learn some British isms and you want to say some old school things, then feel free to go through
Oh,
this paperclip
wow.
and learn some of them. So yeah,
Honestly, I
all of
remember
my
Clippy though. I remember Clippy.
yeah, it was so annoying.
Wow.
But I
Wow.
was just like all of these things, like specifically Londoners would know this, but it's just something I wanted
I
to
think
share.
this is so funny because it's just like I have no idea of any of
Yeah.
these, but and I feel like I would sound so crazy saying any of them, but I'm gonna have to
You
go like in
probably
my own
would.
alone time.
But yeah, it's some of like so those are that's nostalgic slang. So words like
Yeah.
scheme, it'd be like if
Oh,
you said something it's like scheme, that's what we would say. But it just I mean people don't say
wow.
that anymore. Maybe
What
we
did
should
it
bring it
mean?
back.
Skiing?
It's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, all right, scheme.
Maybe
Like
I
that's kind
should
of the
start saying them and like the kids will think that I'm cool and be like, yeah, I made that
and I
up.
feel free to take the credit actually, it's fine, but this is definitely not something that you should be saying in 2024.
Okay. Cool.
You
Cool.
would
Cool.
get
Cool.
side-eyed.
All right.
But yeah,
Bet.
so this
Good
is the
looking out.
CRT filter. I got you. This is the CRT filter in a TV, like I was saying, like because it already has that kind of vibe, you can put it into
Mm-hmm.
a TV and it will look legit. Because this is how, if you were to get a camera and film a
Yeah.
one, that's how it kind of comes out with like all of those
Mm-hmm.
lines. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. And then yeah, just some more of like my blobs that I love. These are some of the illustrations and the graffiti that I actually did in 2007 that I
Mm-hmm.
still use till now. So it's very crazy how
Wow.
like I have gone full circle. So I started doing this stuff, and then now because nostalgia is just so crucial in my
Yeah.
work and my art, I've now come back around and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that stuff from 2007 is still
Mm-hmm.
relevant to me now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is we're soon coming to an end. This is so when I would do a lot of my VHS
Mm-hmm.
videos, I would take stills from them and I would be like, if I was an artist, what would my EP or my singles look like? What would it look like? So I just started this whole kind of concept of like, if I was an artist, what would my cover art be? And this was like the first one I made. And then it just became a thing. And then I just continued. So that's also a way to kind of like reuse your work. So for me, nothing of mine goes to waste. So if it's a video, I will have like videos and then I'll use the stills and then I would just turn those into something else. And it's just constantly like I'm constantly recycling. So that was a fun thing to do. And then yeah, here's another version of the Nokia phones that I made. I just didn't really like it and I couldn't be bothered to put it in a phone. So I just left it as is. But this just goes to show how you can use like anything can go in there, anything.
Mm.
And then yeah, last but not least, um, I
Oh my God, did
I
you have
love this.
pink hair? Red hair?
Yeah, I had pink hair. I had pink hair and I had green hair. I'll
Wow.
show you the green hair in a sec.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
tried to then dye my hair blue without adult supervision because my sister does my hair. And I tried to do it on my own and
Oh my God.
it went so horribly wrong that I had to shave off all my hair
Oh
and I was
no.
bald. Yeah, I was
Oh
bald.
no.
So I put on the I put on the peroxide to make my hair go like ice white. And I sent my sister a
Yeah.
video like, look, I've left on for ages because it didn't even burn. Like, oh, it's amazing. And then also it's really chaotic, but I used to bleach and relax my hair in the same sitting, which is just
Girl,
you
and
just
it stayed on your scalp? And it stayed on your scalp? Your hair loved
not
you.
not the second time. That's why I was bald.
Okay.
So when
Okay.
that was because I did it without adult supervision.
Oh my
But
God.
when I went green and pink, my sister did it for
Hmm.
me and it worked. I was like, it's
It was
fine. We
great.
did it. When I
I
tried to
love
go
that.
blue, it never
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my pink hair phase. And then
Lit.
I love like this is a technique called data moshing, and it's just
Mm.
kind of when the video is completely distorted. This is something that you can do
Mm-hmm.
on After Effects, which is really cool. And then
Mm.
yeah, this is I meant to have another A. It's meant to be Mari, but I just didn't like the last A, so I just
Mm.
left it out. So it's Mari. But yeah, these are just some of like the things that I made. Like just sometimes if I want to experiment, I'll just type my name out and just be like, how can I make my name cool? And what can I do to make my name
I
cool?
love that.
So
Yo, someone in the
yeah.
comments is coming for you. It's true she was bald. Why are people?
That's my sister. That is my sister. Yeah, I was bald. I was
Oh
completely
my God,
bald.
I'm dying. I'm dying. I
Yeah, I
love it.
had to
I
I wish I could put the pictures of like before and after. It literally started off as like the blonde really happy and then the next one was literally just like me doing this and you can just see the hair falling
Oh,
out. And then the last picture
no.
was just the top of my head, just with no hair. Yeah. It was
No. Okay, I've done it. I tried to go blue and then I tried to go green and then it got that horrible like fried blonde. And I had like it was kind of a mohawk I also had. There was a lot happening.
yeah, it's just it's
There
a
was a lot
phase.
happening.
It's
It
a
was a
phase.
phase. It
Yeah, it's a
truly.
phase. Everyone goes through their fried hair phase at some
Yeah,
point
yeah,
when they really
yeah,
want to experiment. But yeah, this was my
yeah.
green hair. So this is when it was green.
Yo, okay, but you pulled off your green hair though. I would
Thanks.
die to show a picture of mine. You look great. Like you actually look amazing.
Thank you. I remember I started a job and I
Like
wore a
please.
wig. So
Oh, that's
I
so
wore a wig on the
amazing.
first day of
Wow.
work. And I remember like I was talking to them and I appeared normal. And then I eventually confessed by the end of the shift, I was like, oh, my hair's green, by the way. And they were like, oh, do you know what? They were like, I thought I was going mad, but I could see bits of green in your sideburns. I could see like,
Stop it.
look,
Shut up.
I was like, yeah, my hair's green. And then I came into work like 2 days after without the wig, and I was like, you caught me. My hair's green. So that's basically what
Oh, that's an
happened.
epic reveal.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I could see like I
Oh
thought I
my
was going
God.
crazy. I could see bits
Like
of green.
you
Yeah,
were
my
not
hair's
hiding it
green.
well. It was not hidden.
I had
No,
like a
babes.
fringe and like the fringe and I think when the wind blew, like you could just see like the sideburn and it was just
Oh
green.
my God.
But yeah,
Oh.
so that concludes my lab, and then you'll just have like my about page. So this is a bit about me if I haven't explained myself properly, the weird and wonderful Maria, and then just kind of what I've done. And then yeah, that would take me over to the Instagram. So if you click here, you go on my Instagram. I'll save that for you guys to do it. I feel like I've already toured
I've dropped it in the chat. Girl,
everything.
I've been
Oh,
dropping all your stuff in the chat. Your Instagram's in the chat, your website's in the chat. Yeah, it's absolutely,
but yeah,
absolutely.
that is me. Thank you so much for having me and for everyone who
Mm.
tuned in. I hope you guys were inspired and interested. And I hope you weren't fatigued. with all the stuff because there's a lot of stuff. And even my
I think
my
our
Instagram
minds
has
were
more.
blown.
Thank
Like you
you.
mentioned, like that 10,000 hours thing, and like, yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
it's been a
Like
long time.
never we will never let anyone tell us that practice does not make progress. Like that was
Yeah,
incredible.
definitely.
That was
Yeah, so
incredible.
I'm seeing a question on the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if anyone's got questions, like now's like the time as we're
Yeah.
rounding out. So the sites I use for my resources, it just kind of depends on what it is. I think sometimes Gumroad is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Gumroad, I've put some of these things in my broadcast channel. So if you go on my
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and you go to it's like graphics and stuff and you scroll up, I've tried to like put some resources there. There was another guy, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's in the broadcast channel. Let me see if I can actually find it. And he has like a load of free things that you can literally just download. And there it's like all the gradient maps, like I think he had like 300 different styles of camo print, that kind of stuff. Let me see. Oh, it's not, I can't look at it on my computer because it doesn't have the broadcast channels here for some reason. But if you go there, all of the resources were there. Also, like Google Behance is really good. Behance is great for downloading like
Yep.
free resources or like fonts and things like that. And yeah, just also keep an eye out for like some creative, they sell packages and they like
Yep.
the background that I'm using right now is from, let me actually find his name because I feel like it's good for me to honor that. Let me see. His name is, which I still can't find, and this is terrible, but I will have it in
Take
the
your time.
next
Take your time.
5 seconds. Oh, so the first one I was talking about was called Resource Boy.
Resource
I
boy.
Resource Boy, yeah. But again, the link is in my channel, and the background that I got from is from a guy called Malay Malo Mahalo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mihailo. So he had a texture pack, and I think I bought it for like under $10, and
Mm-hmm.
he had 155 different textures that
Whoa.
he just was giving away for free. Yeah, so there's loads of different ones. I've used it for a whole presentation. Like I just had all of them. People are like, oh, the backgrounds are so cool. They weren't mine. But yeah,
That's amazing though.
this is what I'm using today for one of his. So yeah, it's just literally just like looking around. So yeah, Behance, Resource Boy,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at different designers and seeing if they have things to offer, and Gumroad. I think those are probably like my go-to. And just like your standard Google.
Yeah.
Also, I use Arena. I'm not sure if anyone knows what that is. That again was introduced to me by the amazing Olivia. She introduced me to Arena and it like changed my life.
What's
And I
arena?
get Arena is basically like imagine if Pinterest and Tumblr had a baby, and
Oh,
that is basically what
what a
Arena is.
pretty baby.
It's a gorgeous baby. I'm gonna see
I
if I can
love
show
that.
you my board, and I would just let me share my screen for the final time if I can. Let's see, because I'm using a
Mm-hmm.
different thing.
I'm
Let's
dropping some of
have a
the
look.
resources in the chat while you do
Okay,
that too.
perfect. Thank you.
Um, yeah, and for everyone else also watching, one of my favorite like hubs for some design resources is I follow this Instagram called Design Team of One, and I just put that in the chat. And
Oh,
I mean,
amazing.
they're always posting like different um, design tools and stuff that they love, and I find that really fun. But yeah,
Okay,
you can go
sick.
ahead. Yeah,
Let me see. I don't think, no, I can't get it to, it's not showing. So let me do it on
it's
this
always in that
browser.
moment when we actually need things.
It's always, I just need, because I'm doing it from Safari, so I'm just going to bring it to Chrome and then it should
Okay,
behave.
yeah,
It'll be fine.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this is my board. Let me share my screen now, and this
Mm-hmm.
should work.
Okay, I'll pop that comment
Um,
back up in just a second.
okay, so
Someone else
this is
has a
my,
question,
can you
but
see it?
hold on.
There we
There we go.
go. So if you want to know what's inside my brain, this is it. So this is basically where I get a lot of my inspo from as well. This is
Mm.
Arena.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like Pinterest, but you can just I just have like very specific photos that I can like refer
Mm-hmm.
to or want to recreate or design. So that's one of my resource things. So Arena is spelled ARE.NA. And then you just kind of
Oh,
have to
okay.
like start and you yeah, so you just like follow people, follow boards and things like that. So that's probably my main resource for me
Very
personally.
cool. Thank you for that. I feel like everyone's like taking notes and like writing writing stuff down like and got it. And thank you. Okay, I'm gonna pop this other question up that someone had,
Yeah,
which was how do you
sure.
find a balance between stock images and video and self-made content? Like what's the rule? So I guess what's your rule for you?
This is this is quite bad. I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. One of my rules is just learning how to edit out some of like
Mm.
the stock image, like sometimes it can have like stock image over it. It's just learning how to edit that
Mm-hmm.
out. That's number
Mm-hmm.
one. And number two, it's just sometimes I call it like freaking. It's like learning how to freak stuff as well. So it could be a case where I can be like, oh, I want to put myself in a frame. And then I go on Google and I find a frame and I'm like, yes, this is just straight off Google, but how I'm gonna think, let me change the color, let me like alter the size or do something like that. So that's kind of what I do sometimes. I might freak something, I might edit it just so it doesn't look like what you will find when you type it in on the search. Um, but it just kind of varies on what I'm doing. There are some times where I can just use like stock images or just use a template and I'm content. And there are some times where I have to make it from scratch. This day and age for me personally, because of like my workload a lot of the times, I do tend to go more towards like stock images or templates and then I just edit them and alter them just for time. Because sometimes making things from scratch is really, really long. However, if it's a project that I feel like only I can do this or I can't find anything online that supports it, then I'll probably make it from scratch. So I don't have a rule. It's always case by case. Um, and yeah, it just kind of depends. I think as long as you're able to put a twist on something that is like a stock image just to kind of make it your own in some capacity, I think that's the best place to be in, however it looks. But also, if something looks great as is, just with a template, then just use the template and that's it. That's my rule. I can't hear you. Are you speaking? Are you still muted?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Absolutely was 100%. Um, but I was gonna say like something that can be cool about like stock images and content and stuff like that. Yeah, it is the fact that you can play around with it and um, so for me like if I'm trying to create something and I'm not a designer like you, like not in the same way anyway. And so I use a lot like I do use templates that I can go in and kind of play around with and as you say like you can freak it and just kind of like figure out like how to make something work for you.
Yeah.
And I do find myself doing that and it's fun. Like
Yeah,
I
it is.
use I just use Adobe stock because it's inside Adobe Express already. So I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of I can put my stuff in. I can remove the background. Like I can add my own stuff, and then yeah, then it's cool. It's like a really cool hack, but it's I think it's always apparent when you still don't have like your own creative vision for something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that going through your stuff and seeing your work, it's like, okay, cool. Like maybe there's like a mix and match of stock images and self made content, but your brand and who you are is just like so clear in everything that you do that,
Thanks.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it,
really good
it
mix.
took a while, definitely. I think I didn't just wake up and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I like and this is what I'm on. That wasn't the case. I
Mm-hmm.
actually in 2022 I got to a place where I basically crashed and I was just like, I do
Mm.
so much and I have so many designs and styles that I like. I felt like I was just trying to imagine like 12 people trying to force themselves through a door. You'll get stuck,
Yeah.
and I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was stuck. So I reached
Mm.
out and I had a mentor for a bit. If I can find the link, they're just like free mentors, and
Mm.
they don't charge, and they just like offer their time to you. So you just reach out to them. They've got like
Wow.
all their emails and qualifications. If I can find it, I'll see if I can find it before the call ends. And
That's amazing.
yeah, I reached out to them, and I I found one guy, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll be your mentor, sure." And he basically said to me that in the space of, because I was also quite worried about like Instagram and numbers and
Mm-hmm.
all of the standard stuff that comes with social
Mm-hmm.
media. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, so he basically put me through an exercise where I had to unlearn all of that stuff." So he said,
Mm.
in the space of 2 months, I have to upload 500 posts. Yeah, it was
Wow.
crazy. 500
Oh
posts.
my
So
God.
I didn't do 500. I think, no, was it 500? It was a lot.
Did you want to
I did a,
cry?
I was like, I initially was like, I can't do this. So I think maybe he said 200. I can't remember. It was over 100. And I had to do
Mm.
that in the space of 2 months. And this was because he needed to train me to just make the work and put it out
Yeah.
and not be attached to it. Because if I worry
Wow.
about numbers, I didn't want to make something else. I'm like, oh, no one likes my stuff. I'm gonna stop
Mm-hmm.
making it. And he was like, come
Mm.
out of that. So then I just
That's
learned to
really
like
good advice, actually.
create work. Yeah, and also I don't look at my Instagram numbers at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
it took me a second to get into the habit, but I don't check the likes. So now I just enjoy Instagram. I just enjoy it for the pictures. And it's a really great experience, but I had to train myself because you're used to like seeing it,
Mm.
how many people like, but I just don't do I haven't done it for maybe a year and a half, coming up to two
Wow,
years, and
yeah.
I'm having a blast. But he
Good for
also said to
you.
me, thank you. But he also said to me that I have to create this work. So if I'm uploading the stuff,
Mm.
I had to clock in every day as if I was doing a shift, and I had to make stuff every day. And what I found was that he was like, create anything you want, whatever you want to make it. There's no limit. So I just started experimenting. I did loads of random things. And then I tend to find that I was coming towards the same things. Like I would do something, but I would come back to this. I would do something, I'd come back to it was like nostalgia, color, texture, and something like a few
Mm.
things, and like graphic design. And I would just find myself creating those, or they would be the things that I would opt to make first. And then I was just like, oh my God, my stuff is becoming so repetitive. Like I'm just doing these same things. And then I had a light bulb moment. I was like, no, it's repetitive because this is your brand. Now you know what you
Yeah.
like. Now you know what you're
Yeah.
about. Start to
Mm-hmm.
explore this and really make this stuff clear. And if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that time of exploration, I wouldn't have been able to know what I like and what I don't like, and understand who I am and what I am as a brand. So now,
Mm.
like you said, like I'm really happy that it comes across clear, and you can see that like, okay, yeah, this is actually what I'm about and what I'm on. But it took a good few years to get there. So I just say all of this to say, like, for other people who are just still trying to figure out themselves or what they're about or their style, just experiment and explore. And
Mm-hmm.
then eventually you're going to be like, oh, I really like this. I really like this. Like another example is me and Olivia, we both do 3D together, but
Mm.
I, she's branched off, and a lot of the stuff she does is more like futuristic or spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
or like I like to say, whimsical. Like her stuff is
Mm-hmm.
whimsical to me. But
Mm-hmm.
my stuff, when I was doing 3D, I really loved hair. I loved hair, and I
Mm.
just wanted to make everything hairy. But I needed to explore. Honestly, I want to make everything hairy. So, but I needed to explore that stuff first in order to know
Mm-hmm.
what I like and what I don't like. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's just for anyone who thinks that, like, how do I find my brand? You just have to play,
Yeah.
make it fun, play, play, play until you're like, okay, this is what I really like, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
hone in on this and perfect
Mm-hmm.
this.
I love that. I think there's nothing
Thanks.
wrong either. Like sometimes it can feel um, you can feel nervous about honing in on something because saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else. But
Exactly.
when you have a recognizable brand, people know what to look for. They know how,
Hmm.
you know, who to hire. It's like, it's why you've gotten the gigs that you've gotten, because they're like, yeah, I like the way that she sees the world. You know, like, I like her lens on reality, and people know what to find, and yeah, they know what they're going to get when they look for you, and that's good. And it does take saying no to something else to say yes to your own brand, and that
Definitely.
can feel scary, but it's beautiful. It's concrete, and it doesn't mean that you can't experiment still and grow still and pivot. It's
Exactly.
just like, you know who you are, and when you know who you are, you can play. Like, you can play around,
Exactly.
and you can make really beautiful stuff.
Exactly. Yes. That's the perfect analogy. Yeah, it's just like having a brand doesn't mean that you're not able to do the things that you're doing. So it's like, even again using Olivia's work, like there are some things that, even though she has this style, there are things that I can make that she can make, and vice versa. Like our your skill set is still broad, but you just it's just like having a signature. It's like a tagline. Like, oh, okay, yeah. So mine is just like, oh, modern day nostalgia. That's it.
Thank you so much for spending time, like, showing all of
Thank you
us
for
how
having
to do
me.
this and showing your portfolio and all of this. For those of you who joined in the middle, or a little bit later, you still can download the same assets. And will you show us your screen just one last time for the video editing that you did in Photoshop?
Yeah, sure.
Um, okay,
Um, let
just so
me
people
let
who
me
are kind
do
of coming in at the end can have a
let
visual.
me do the infinite screens again. Um, hold
I'm
on.
ready.
Okay, share screen, entire screen. There we go. Okay, there we go. The infinite screens. So, um, okay, we're back. So I played around and I made some phones. So we've got some Motorola's here that you made, and then I made some Nokias as well. So this is basically what you are creating today. So I've already given you kind of everything. So you have like, in order to make this, basically, you have everything already that you can download from the WeTransfer. But after that expires, I think we're either going to make like a Dropbox or some sort of permanent link that you can check afterwards. But yeah, so this is essentially what we have made today. And it starts off with this file where you can just drag and drop your video. This is an example of one that I had made earlier with just one of my random videos that I put in, and just how you can turn anything. You can even do it with pictures, to be honest. It doesn't even have to be videos. You can This works with pictures too. But obviously the premise of today is showing people that you can edit video in Photoshop. So that's kind of what we made. So you make it here, export it, and you put it into any phone. And these are the phones that you have available. You have your Motorola Razr, your Motorola Silver, and then all of these Nokias to choose from. And yeah, again, you can like, I've done it so you can put pictures or videos or anything behind it, and you can just export it. And you can freak this. You can freak this however you like. I've basically just given you something that will be, oh, I've come off it. That will be considered as like a tool or like a stock thing, and then you can freak it in whatever way you want. I don't know. Let me see if I can do a live edit. Don't try this at home yet
Live
because I'm
edit,
actually
live edit.
okay, so let's see if I can. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can change the color of this and make it orange, because you get like some Siemens phones and some Nokia phones that are orange. Haha! You can change the color, you can freak it however you like. And now we have an orange phone. And you can do it with any color. Any color. So this is for the super authentic babes that want to just play around, and you don't want to do it on the green Nokia phone, and you want to do it on like the orange phones or any other phones or any other color. But yeah, if you want to do that, you double click on the gradient map, you click here on the color, double click, and then wherever these kind of nodes are, you can just click on it, click color here, and then you can change the color to whatever you like. You can make any color you like, and you can freak and have fun and live your life. And yeah, that's a live edit. There you go. Just off the back of like freaking stuff, you can
Hey,
freak
love
this.
it.
Yeah, so that's basically it.
Oh my God.
But yeah, thank you so
This
much
was
for
so
having me,
cool.
honestly. I was really nervous, but
Yeah.
I'm happy that like it
Are
was
you
smooth sailing.
kidding? You crushed it. You crushed it, and I
Thank
can't wait to
you.
have you back.
Oh yes, no, we'll definitely do more. Like, feel free. Let Danielle know what ones you want me to break down. I'm happy to break down anything, honestly. I'm just at a stage
That
in my
is
life where
wonderful.
I just wanna give away stuff because it's like it's just sitting on my
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing anything with it right now. So yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. And
Mm,
thank you everyone who tuned in on YouTube and the last hurrah on Behance
Behance.
Live. Thank you guys all so, so much. Oh, yes, the hearts
Oh my
work.
God. Oh, that's so cute. Wait, I want to do it. I don't have
Hold
whatever
it, see if
software
it
you're
works.
using. I'm
I might
just,
work. No, it's just
it's.
my camera.
Look.
It's just my
No,
camera.
what? My God, you're so cool.
And sometimes does this work? When you hold it, like you get balloons. Is it one? I'm not
I
sure.
did that by
But
accident
yeah.
one time and had
Yeah,
balloons. I
you
was
usually
like,
do. Or you
okay.
have a thumbs up. I don't know,
Yeah.
a thumb, thumbs up, but no, let's stick with the hearts.
I
See if it
love
works.
the hearts. That was so cute. That's so cute.
Yeah, thank you guys so much,
Um,
honestly. And yeah, I hope to tune in with you guys again. I really enjoyed this, and please, 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 any of you guys who actually make a video or do it, please send it to me. I would love, love, love,
yeah.
love, love, love to see you actually making it or see if you freak it or whatever you do. Please send it to
Yes.
me. That will make my day and be a great end to my year. And yeah, feel
Oh my
free to like
God.
reach out to me for anything, any additional questions, any assets, anything like that. Um, just holler at me and I'll
Oh
message
my
you as soon as
gosh.
I can. But yeah,
You're
thank
so
you guys so
cool. Thank
much.
you, everyone, so much for joining us. This has been such a fun stream. I dropped so many links for you guys in the chat on YouTube, so you can replay the chat and find everything if you're looking for something. Yeah, for sure. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I will see you all again next
Thank
month with
you.
another really cool live stream. My kids are like have been waiting for 2 hours, so it's it's about that time. Yeah, you can have some. I'll come get you some. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have
Bye.
a lovely evening.
Bye.
Talk to you all soon.